What is up everyone, X here, and today we're going to be doing episode 2 of FPS Tips with X, and today we're going to be talking about mouse sensitivity. Now, this subject it varies from person to person. That is, there's no ultimate sensitivity that everyone can use and everyone can be accustomed to. It's different from person to person, and really using it is something you have to find out on your own. So what I'm going to do because of that is give you the benefits of using higher sensitivities, the benefits of using lower sensitivities, and explain what I use and why I use it. So pretty much for lower sensitivities, you have better control of your aiming. You can track people better in terms of long range engagements because the way you're moving is a lot more controlled. You can control it a lot easier as opposed to a high sensitivity. And generally, aiming is a lot more controlled when you have a lower sensitivity opposed to higher sensitivities. Now, with higher sensitivities, you can react a lot faster. That being said, you don't want too high sensitivity because in most cases, when you're playing, the most you're going to have to do is a 180-degree turn. That's at most all you'll have to do when playing, 180 degrees. That's it. You're not going to have to be doing 360s and spin all over the place or whatever. It's 180 degrees is the most you need your sensitivity to go. But having the higher sensitivities means that you can pretty much, you can keep your mouse down for longer periods of time without taking it off the mouse pad to readjust yourself. That you usually have to do with lower sensitivities. Now, what I use is, first of all, my mouse pad's a standard 8 inches, so what I do is my mouse is in the middle of my mouse pad, and turning it and moving it from the middle all the way down to 180 degrees takes up almost one half of my mouse pad, so it takes up probably about 3/4 from the middle to the end. So it's to the middle and just a little bit over in case I need that little extra to go. So I can show you, I play at 3500 DPI, and in Black Ops 2 my mouse sensitivity is not in here. Is at 2, which I'm actually probably going to lower that just a little bit more. So I play on, my sensitivity is relatively low, just because it allows me to control a lot better, and my hand gets a little jittery sometimes, so having lower sensitivity means that when I am tracking people at ranges and stuff, it's easier to control for me, and I like that control. And that's obviously before I used to play at 3500 DPI at, I guess in Black Ops setting, just to keep it relative, at probably about 25 at 3500 DPI. So I used to play at really high sensitivities and used to jut around a lot, but that was hard to aim, and progressively I just keep lowering my sensitivity. So once I get comfortable with a certain sensitivity, I lower it just a little bit more, and I essentially keep doing that. And what that does, it keeps me able to keep the control I am used to, but then it also means that I'm slowly it keeps the speed that I'm used to, well, relatively, and it means that I'm slowly getting more control with my mouse, because pretty much, if you look at the people who play at higher levels, they do use lower sensitivities, just because it's easier for them to control and easier for them to aim and track their targets. So that's just something to keep in mind. And also something that you should keep in mind is if you have programs for your mouse to adjust the sensitivity. So I have a Razer Death Adder, so I have the Razer software to edit my mouse settings, and I'll put up a little screenshot of it right here. And you'll see that in the settings, I have an option to turn down the Y sensitivity, or I have different options for the Y-axis and the X-axis. So what I do is I turn the Y-axis down all the way, and that is because it makes it easier to track targets horizontally. If you usually don't need vertical sensitivity that much, especially in modern military shooters, because mostly everything is on mostly is leveled. So keeping your Y-axis sensitivity down means that you're able to track heads a lot easier. When you're moving from side to side, going up and down, because no one can obviously keep perfect horizontal movements in a gunfight and be that calm most of the time. So keeping that Y sensitivity down actually does help me keep my shots level and helps me line up headshots a lot easier and looking around corners and stuff like that. So hopefully this has been at least a little helpful. I mean, everything is relative to what you're comfortable with, but I definitely recommend trying to get used to lower sensitivities and keeping control with that, because it does help in the long run. Just keeping the relatively lower sensitivities for more control. So yeah, hopefully this was helpful, and I will talk to you guys next.